I just saw some interview with this serene sensei person talking about Bruno Mars being a culture appropriation tool. Although I could understand where she's saying and what she's saying, I have to disagree in a sense because, yeah, this music industry is racist and not cool when it comes to especially black music and just them marketing black music and using a certain face to market a black music. I like the fact, I come from a rock and roll perspective because that's what, you know, I mostly, I guess you can say mostly have been associated with even as a kid, even though I've been, you know, a hip hop b-boy guy or whatever, but I've been also documenting a lot of the black history of rock and roll and how just making stuff shine on certain rock artists that didn't really get the shine back then, or more so in the 60s and 70s. I have a lot of stuff. If you go on my Instagram page, you'll see it. But I'm getting back to the subject. I would say this industry has had a history of it from the point where you had Sam Phillips talking about they needed a white voice, a white picture, a white image with a Negro voice when it came to him marketing Elvis so they could make a lot of money. You could look this up. I'm not just making this up. You need a white face with a Negro voice. Basically, they said that they needed that. Plus, they could make a lot of money from that. Sam Phillips, look it up. Sam Phillips actually said that in regards to them getting Elvis, because a lot of, you know, white society was not accepting of having somebody drool over Chuck Berry. I'm actually quoting also Gil Scott-Heron and what he said on his poem Not So New, or Not, man, how could I forget the title of that? It Ain't New. Yeah, that's what it's called. Basically, he said a lot of the white girls were kind of like, you know, swooning over Chuck Berry. I'm using another word than what he said. And their parents were afraid of it. But getting back to my subject about cultural appropriation, and at least with Bruno Mars, I've heard that he even said that, I don't know, I have to check the source. Somebody find that for me and please let me know. Someone said that he had mentioned the fact that he was using the way that he looked as far as ambiguous to appeal to his black audience. I don't know if that's true. I want to find that. But I'll say this in my personal opinion about Bruno Mars. I don't really think that he is, because this brother not only, of course, he digs what he does, you know. A lot of people talking about he is not original and all this. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I've seen him do the Jackie Wilson thing, and he reminded me of Jackie Wilson when I first saw him. I thought, you know, wow, it's cool to see cats doing this. And now he's doing the funk thing, and I think it's cool, man, you know, because he's digging it and he's getting a lot of cats interested in it. But I'm not going to demonize him for that. I think he's just doing what he likes. The industry is what you're supposed to blame, in my opinion, because they've had a long history of that. Whether it's separating blacks from rock and roll, you know, kind of marketing certain artists over the others and all that. When it came to a lot of stuff, and even now it's even worse. But for someone like Seren to say this about Bruno Mars, you know, I could say this with your name. If she's watching this, you can't really talk. I mean, what, are you cultural appropriating Japanese culture? You think about that, you know. I do agree that it's the industry so much more that is doing this. I can't really blame Bruno Mars in that sense. So a dude that's doing something that a lot of people aren't doing, playing a lot of funk, you know, influenced by like a lot of 70s and 80s artists. You know, Jamiroquai kind of did the same thing, even though he wasn't as popular as Bruno Mars is, you know. And And though he may not be black, in a sense, he's just showing an appreciation. And he has given massive props to other black artists. He never pretended like it was just his own thing, like, you know, Robin Thicke did, or you know, what, Justin Bieber. He gave massive props. So I have a lot of respect for Bruno. The industry, I don't, but Bruno Mars, I'll say, I really don't think he's coming from that appropriation tactic thing. That's my opinion. Give your opinion. Let me know what you think.